Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm Perry Black, and on this show, you don't want to miss it. Grant Garrett with Garrett Excavating, Lake Hamilton High School All-State Razorback football player, and NFL with Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs, and a friend of the ranch. We'll be right back with Grant Garrett. Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Thanks for joining us tonight as we have a very special guest, Grant Garrett with Garrett Excavating, and he and his company are sponsors of Second Chance Youth Ranch and have made a huge impact, not just in some of the physical things we've been doing over the past few years, but in touching the lives of children in care. So, Grant, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Pastor Perry.
So, it's good to have you. Now, some people may recognize you because you're around the central Arkansas and even the northwest Arkansas area with Grant Excavating. Where else are y'all besides northwest Arkansas, Hot Springs,
everywhere
Saline
in between?
County,
yeah,
everywhere.
Everywhere in between. We try to serve the entire state.
The whole state.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I live in Hot Springs, and I was a weekender down there for years, and I would see Garrett Excavating.
Right.
Y'all did a whole complex on my street. Took you about 2 years.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you more about that. You probably know where that is.
I do know right where that is.
And I saw y'all building retainer walls. I guess y'all did those about, gosh, I think they're 30 feet tall.
Right. They're high.
Yeah. So I saw your vehicles long before I met you.
Right.
But so anybody that's kind of like me that didn't know you or doesn't know you, they see your red trucks all over the place on I-30, right there, traveling east toward Haskell. Y'all are right there now. Right. You got your business locations there in Hot Springs and northwest Arkansas. You got other plants, other places where you got
those are our two main offices.
Yeah. So where did you grow up?
Grew up in a little place called Sunshine, Arkansas, right outside of Hot Springs.
Sunshine. Where is that?
It's between Hot Springs and Crystal Springs, maybe.
That didn't help.
Somewhere in that range.
Crystal Springs on
west.
5?
Yeah, 270.
270, okay.
Yeah. It was about 6 minutes from Lake Hamilton School, if you know where Lake Hamilton School is.
Yeah,
we were
got
right
rental
next
property
to it.
Exactly 2 miles from Lake Hamilton School.
When I say Sunshine, nobody knows where that is, so Hot Springs is a lot easier.
So did you go to elementary school in Sunshine?
No, I went K through 12 at Lake Hamilton.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you grew up at Sunshine, so obviously you grew, the sun was good to you.
That's right. No, it was a great place to grow up as a boy.
So are you a country boy?
Oh, yeah. Hunting, fishing, riding four-wheelers, shooting guns, just building
guns.
fires, just having a good time.
So, but you graduated Lake Hamilton. What year did you graduate?
94.
94.
Yeah.
Now, on a previous show, we had Sean O'Keen. How did you meet him? He's a business owner with you now.
Yep, he's
How
a
did you guys
business
meet?
partner. We actually grew up within two and a half miles of each other and didn't know each other.
Well, he didn't grow up in any sunshine, though, because he's
right.
my size.
That's right. And we didn't meet till later in life. Our companies did business together.
Yeah.
And got to know each other really well, and that's how that relationship started.
I'll be. And you played what sports at Lake Hamilton?
Football and track. I was all-state in football and shot put and discus.
I was watching shot put. Some of the Olympic trials are coming up, and I love track and field.
It doesn't get a lot of press, but
No,
it was fun. It was fun.
Well, with all these ESPNs now, there's about 14 different channels of that. You know, you're watching the Razorback baseball, and it's, what happened? You have to flip over to the other channel, and in about 10 minutes, what happened? It's over on the other channel. But yeah, they're giving a little bit more coverage, a little more.
Sure.
I have a friend of mine named Tommy Hoffman, who was really good. Of course, I'm a tiny bit older than you.
A little bit.
But he was all-state shot put as well. I think he ended up graduating McClellan High School.
Right.
He's a fireman, probably retired now. I don't know why he's retired. He's my age.
Right.
So
a lot of life.
So you played all-state. Now, what did you play? What was your position?
I was a center. I was a center. I was actually the first Division I athlete with a full ride scholarship and wound up playing at the University of Arkansas for the Razorbacks.
And you were a center there.
I was a center there, yeah.
I'm a center. I was a center most of my young life, but
Right.
that's a little different, spell it different. I always tell the people at church, you in the center section, center section.
Right.
So you, what years did you play for the Razorbacks, and who was the coach back then?
So Danny Ford recruited me. I was in his first class, and it was actually the fact that I was an all-state discus thrower that got me my shot for scholarship, because I had good footwork and they could multi-sport athlete. And so he recruited me, and then I finished my senior year, was Houston Nutt's first year as head coach at the Razorbacks.
Now, I'm a Little Rock Central guy that some people that watch may know. I graduated in '70, and my parents were just absolutely elated about my graduation.
Right. Big surprise?
I think it was more surprise to my teachers than my parents. Houston, I think, came to Central High School in 1972 as a student. Played, I think, obviously played quarterback there. Right. But I don't know him. I just, I kind of followed him because he's, you know, part of my Tiger history.
Right.
So Houston took over after that. And you played several years for the Razorbacks. Did you throw discus? Is that what I understood?
No, I wasn't given that opportunity. I had to focus. I was told I had to focus on my football career if I wanted to have a shot. So I had to make a choice.
So how did you get involved in Garrett Excavating? And now some of these answers I do know just a little bit.
Sure. Well, my grandfather started the company in 1950. He grew up, was born and raised out in the Mountain Harbor region before Lake Ouachita was formed. And the government bought their homestead, and they had to move to town. And he married early in life and had a couple of children, and his wife passed unexpectedly. And then he met my grandmother, and they had my dad in the early 50s. And it was through my grandmother's family who managed the Hot Springs National Park. He worked for the Park Service. He had a little bit of savings, and my great-grandfather actually co-signed for the loan for his first bulldozer.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, now I know how much, I see all your equipment in places where I drive by, his first bulldozer.
Right.
Is that 71 years ago?
Yep, 1950.
You got more than one bulldozer now?
Got more than one now, sure do, sure do.
So, are you married?
Oh, yes. I met my wife, Betsy, at the University of Arkansas. We actually met in class. And one of the first things she told me was that she never dates football players. And we see how that worked out for her. We've been married 22 years and have two beautiful children, Michael, who's 5, and Emma, who's 12.
So the children look just like your wife then?
Man, believe it or not, they're pretty children, and they look a lot like me. Yeah. Thank goodness they look like their mom.
We're going to take a brief break with Grant Garrett, Grant Excavating, and find out how he made a connection with Second Chance Youth Ranch and how you can too. We'll be right back.
A mission field around you is filled with young hearts needing a forever family. And at Second Chance Youth Ranch, our team is committed to providing healthy, stable, loving homes and families to hurting children in the Arkansas foster care system and those up for adoption. Please contact us if you feel the tug at your heart to help foster or adopt, and find out the steps you could take to help fulfill a child's lifelong dream. Maybe you can't foster or adopt, but you could help. The need for thousands of children in the system is staggering. But with the help of faithful partners and business alliances, we are meeting those needs right now. Would you help us make a difference? Every gift, regardless of size, impacts a child's life directly and helps provide for a home in the gap right now. Visit the Second Chance Youth Ranch website at 2CYR.org to read more, watch the stories, and to make a contribution for a hurting child's care. Monthly partners are needed, so please contact us right away. And as you partner with this ministry, you are partnering with the Heavenly Father that has promised to be Father to the fatherless. God bless you for helping Second Chance Youth Ranch.
My name is Adrian, and I'm 10 years old. I like to play on my tablet. I like to play Roblox and motorcycle games. I'm in 4th grade. I like math. I like pizza with pepperoni and sausage and cheese. My favorite food is pizza. I want to be adopted. I want a family with a motorcycle. I want a pet bunny. A great bunny named Bugs. I would like to wish for a magic wand.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I pray that these brief breaks are not only just a break from our conversation, but that they're inspirational moments for you. So Grant Garrett is our guest tonight on this program. Grant, you played for the Razorbacks, you played for Danny Ford and Houston Nutt, Lake Hamilton guy. And then when you graduated from U of A, then what happened in your football career?
I had a brief stint in the NFL, and for your viewers that don't know what that stands for, it means not for long.
The NFL, you played for?
The Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
And how long did you play for those
2
teams?
years.
Two total?
Two total.
One at each?
Two total, one at each.
Have our center, Gene Tanner, at Little Rock Central High School, lives in Kansas City, and during football season, he's at every KC game.
Wow.
Every one of them. I think even during COVID, if they'd let him in the gate, he was there. So what role did football play in your education and in the development of who you are as a person? Coaches speaking into your life, that kind of stuff.
I got to see several different styles of leadership in football, and I often think back on those experiences and try to adjust my style to where it's more effective. Because I've been under bad leadership and I've been under great leadership, and the contrast, the experience of that contrast has helped me develop as a leader. The other thing that it's done is I believe that sports, especially team athletics, accelerates your development on how you deal with adversity. You get put in bad situations. Sometimes you have things go wrong, things go against you. It also is a great developer for faith, because without faith that God is with us and for us, and that everything happens to us for a reason. And it's our job to find out what that reason is and turn it into something good and turn it into something beneficial for us. There's been many nights that I doubted myself and doubted the path that I was on and the direction that I was headed, and it was only through my faith and the higher power that I was able to stay on course and see it to the end. So
tell me about your faith. Where did that start?
My grandfather was a great spiritual mentor in my life. He was a Pentecostal preacher. He bounced all around the state to different churches and organizations and spoke, and was very highly sought after for people to invite him to come speak at his churches. And I worked a lot with him growing up as a young boy. We'd go cut several cords of firewood in a day's time, or go tear down a building, or go run a bulldozer, or whatever we did together. And I was pretty much attached to his hip from the time I could crawl up in a pickup truck to the time I got my driver's license. Wow. And he mentored me and guided me spiritually from a very young age, and I got my foundation from him.
So at some point, how old were you when you gave your life to the Lord? I know Pentecostal because I'm a charismaniac myself. Right. So what happened? Were you at a vacation Bible school, a revival, one of them 4-hour services? What? At
the University of Arkansas, there was a big, AAO presence there, and
what is AAO?
It Arkansas Athletic Outreach, just faith-based organization, but it didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel real. And a group of us broke off, including Brandon Burlsworth and Clint Sterner and Russell Brown, and a bunch of us broke off and started our own athletic Christian organization, to where baseball could come and track could come and basketball could come, and we really dove into, as we matured later in our college career, you know, that became important to us, and we had some great leadership. Coach Nutt was involved in that and got us the people to help mentor us and take us through that.
Is that group still going since all of you guys have graduated and moved on?
You know, I think it's changed. It's transformed into
Houston's not
something
there
bigger.
anymore too.
Right.
So.
But at the end of my football career, my senior year, I gave my life to Christ in one of our last meetings at that.
Wow.
And my grandfather was able to come and baptize me, and it
was
was really, really a neat experience.
Wow, that is cool. I was at Arkansas State University after I got out of the Army, and they were going to do a faith explosion with Billy Graham in Texas. And friends had invited me to come to Campus Crusade for Christ. And I was lost. I was an atheist. And I went to that. But even as an atheist, I thought, how cool is it that all these college students are going to hit the streets of Dallas, Texas, and tell people about their faith, particularly about Jesus. Because, you know, I grew up going to church, but I had gotten so far away from God that I didn't even believe in Him anymore. But I was so impressed with that. And what you just said is so important. A lot of people see our religious dressings, and it was just shallow. There was something that just didn't catch you. But somehow during that other organization that you guys all were a part of, God yanked your chain.
Right.
Well, how did that impact you, and how did that foundation prepare you for the NFL not for long and all the temptations that come with being a professional athlete?
Well, my grandfather had a saying, and it didn't matter whether we were moving dirt or growing a garden or going to church and increasing our spiritual capacity. But he would say, "You don't want to piddle, do you?" And I felt like we were piddling with that AAO thing early on, and there just was no substance there. Yeah. And I'm an all or nothing guy. That's just my type of personality. Yeah. So I wanted something. I wanted the experience. I just didn't want a cursory glance at it. Yeah. So we dove down into the meat and potatoes. And when you learn that Christ died for us, and that He is for us, and that sometimes bad things are going to happen. Yeah. But if He's for us and He's not going to let anything take us down, that everything that happens to us is for good. It's for our benefit. Yeah. And once you change that perspective, you can get put in some pretty terrible situations and still have the right attitude and still be moving forward, even though you might be crawling. And, you know, that's taken me through my darkest times. It's just knowing that God is for me. He's with me. He put me here for a reason, and it's not to fail. Yeah. And it's not to crawl home with my tail tucked between my legs. It's to come out victorious.
More than conquerors, not just conquerors. R.W. Shambach says, you know, the conqueror is the guy that gets in the ring and wins, gets the championship check, and hands it to his wife. She's more than a conqueror. Jesus won this for us, and He gives us the victory. Hey, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back.
My name's Amira. Ahmad. Amaya. I like jumping. I like painting too. I won't be a police officer. I know my sister once I play with her and smell my brother, I took scare him, but I say rah, he'll have fun. He'll do it too. He said rah. Mustard. Take a mustard out. You want to see my big sister? 1, 2, 3,
Why do you take care of them?
Because they don't get hurt. This way.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. If you've just joined us, Grant Garrett, Lake Hamilton High School, All-State, went to Division I, University of Arkansas with Danny Ford and Houston Nutt, played football there for the Razorbacks, and then on to the Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs. I think it'd only be fair, though, just since we mentioned all those other coaches, who was your high school football coach and or your track coach?
Jerry Clay was my high school football coach, and Jerry was instrumental in my success. He took an interest in me at a very early, tender age, even in junior high. Yeah, he's retired. He was one of the winningest coaches in high school football. Great coach, great leader, great guy, and very instrumental in my life.
Yeah, earlier you mentioned good leaders and bad leaders. You know, that's really probably an oxymoron. It can't really be a bad leader, because if you're a bad leader, you're not a leader.
Yeah, nobody's following you.
That's right. It's just a lonely walk. But good leadership, you know, bosses say, go. Leader says, let's go. Follow me as I follow the Lord, really. Right. Grant, we've got about 6 or so minutes here in this segment, and I want people to, now they know you, how do you know us at Second Chance Youth Ranch?
It's through your brother, Paul Black. You know, he was
Don't turn that channel.
He was an owner at Redstone, and our company and Redstone worked closely together on several projects for years.
And Redstone is with Michael Astor and that whole team,
right.
Asphalt company,
great
aggregate company.
Yep.
So y'all had a lot in common. So
we complemented each other. You know, what they did really well, we didn't do, and what we did really well, they didn't do. You know, and so early on, we complemented each other. And Paul would always call me and say, "Hey, the ranch needs a better road. The ranch is, you know, the road's in terrible shape. They can't keep shocks on their vans and things like that. We need to go out there and fix the road." And he did that for a couple of years, and I didn't have a clue what the ranch was. I didn't know you. I just had a very basic entry-level relationship with Paul, and one day he showed up and said, "Look, this road is falling apart. We got to go do something out there." And I said, "Well, okay, if it means that much to you, let's go figure it out." Yeah. And the first project we did was straightening, bypassing the worst section of that road, and making a shorter road over to the ranch. Yeah. And man, what a fulfilling job that was.
Well, if you lived at the ranch, that's very fulfilling. Tell me, you and Betsy, though, I think you even took the kids out there. You're one of your first times out there to meet the kids, Billy and Rachel. Right. What was that like?
You know, my kids, I can't speak for most family, but my kids don't really know what it is to do without, right? I mean, they want something and they eventually get it from me or the grandparents or whoever, right? And working out there at the ranch, and you see kids that are excited because they have their own bedroom or they have their own toothbrush, you know, and they're not bringing you Nintendos and PlayStations and showing off. They're bringing you basic life necessities that you and I take for granted every day. And man, it just pulls on your heartstrings. And I wanted my kids to have a snapshot as to what some other kids are growing up with and what life was. So, you know, we hired a professional Santa Claus to come out there. We got a list from Billy and Rachel of what the kids wanted for Christmas, and you know, we bought Christmas for all the kids at the ranch. And you know, some of those kids had never had a picture with Santa Claus. Yeah. And we're out there and they're opening gifts, and my kids are helping Santa Claus hand out gifts, you know, and I just wanted them to be a part of that experience so they could be thankful for what they are and know that there are people in need, people that have done nothing to deserve the lot in life that they get, but that we have the ability to make a change and chart a different course. And the younger they are, the bigger course change we can make, you know. And you know, we were opening presents out there, and this girl shrieked, and it was like a loud cry. And I thought, oh my gosh, something's wrong. And I looked over, and she's just got tears running down her cheek. And I thought, oh man, we messed something up. And I went over there and to see what was going on. And she had asked for an Oklahoma Sooners hoodie sweatshirt, and she got it. And
from
she
a Razorback.
was so excited over a sweatshirt that it made her really emotional. And my kids got to see that, and they got to be a part of that. And I sat them both down. I said, see, this is what we do. This is why God put us here.
That's right.
Is once our basic life necessities are met, our obligation to help our fellow man grows exponentially. And when we can, we should.
Absolutely.
And I wanted them to be a part of that.
Yeah, and maybe our viewers can't load up a truck and bring out a number of gifts to our kids, but they can pray a prayer.
You bet.
You know, I had a sweet little 83-year-old lady when I traveled full-time a few years before the ranch started, sent me $1 a month and wrote me a letter.
And that's awesome.
And when you went to the ranch, that is a result of that sweet lady's $1 a month. People say, well, what can you do with $1? 3 million people in the state of Arkansas, if everybody sent $1, man, we could help bring some solutions to foster care in Arkansas. What child can't give $1? And if they can't, maybe they need our help. Right. What would you say, look at that camera right there, Grant, and just tell anybody that may recognize you or maybe just feel the tug of the Holy Spirit, why should they prayerfully consider supporting what we do or any ministry that's helping children in foster care?
That's easy. Once I got to know you and the organization, we have a passion at Garrett Excavating for helping moving the hearts and minds of people. And I can't think of a better way to do that than with kids, especially kids that are in junior high and high school and sometimes even grade school. Yeah. You know, I worry a lot about giving our money and our time to organizations that I don't know. How do they use it? Is it just to buy the CEO another sports car or another plane ticket somewhere? And the thing I love about the ranch is 100% of our efforts, 100% of our funds go straight to helping those kids. Yeah. You look at the families out there that raise those foster kids. They're leaving basic means. They're not rich. They're not running around in sports cars. They're not frivolously spending money and resources out there. They're pouring everything they have into the kids. And man, they're changing lives on a great scale out there, and I'm just so happy to have a small part of that in whatever way I can. And that was the biggest decision for me.
Yeah. We believe every penny that has Abraham Lincoln's picture on it ought to have a flat side on it. We are good stewards of the resources.
Absolutely.
Because we know that when you give, you're giving not to support me or our staff, you're giving to help children in care. Will you prayerfully consider praying for us today and plant a seed in this good soil? We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.